Hey guys, you guys ready for another one? You guys ready for this? I don't know if I'm ready for this, but let's go. They can have 5 wives, you can still marry them. Doesn't mean it gets rid of all my anxiety. It doesn't mean it makes this just automatically easy. Wow, you can actually tell secrets to your dad, like, and he's not gonna use them against you. This is a follow-up video to answer more questions. So answering questions part 2. Last one did great. I think it sparked a lot of you guys' interest and got more questions coming in. And we're gonna dive deeper and go into more. So I gotta hype myself up just because it's hard. It's hard to talk to basically 1,000 people through this webcam. I don't know. It's funny because like I love it. I like the idea. Basically, some of my biggest goals is to be a motivational speaker, to be able to get in front of thousands, maybe hundreds too. Like, I don't care, the audience, just be able to get in front of people and be like, share how it is. Give them the motivation they need. Give them somehow package up a box of emotion and motivation and be like, bam, there you go. That's my goal, that's my dream, but it's like, it's still just because like I want so bad to be able to be a content creator, to be a motivational speaker, to do these things. Doesn't mean it gets rid of all my anxiety. It doesn't mean it makes this just automatically easy. It's still scary. It's still hard. You gotta hype yourself up. You gotta deep breathe. You gotta just get yourself ready for it. That's why I love those people that are like, if you can't get rid of the fear, then just do it scared. Because it's so true. Sometimes you gotta do things when you're absolutely terrified and it's still worth it. Like, you just gotta push through and then you'll look back and you'll be like, wow, that was awesome. So worth it. That's life, man. Life is awesome if you just take those chances. Let yourself fail a little bit, learn new things, just go at it, you guys. You got this. I believe in you, even if no one else does. I believe in you. Okay, anyways. Here we go. You ready for this? Oh, isn't that just the best sound ever? So good. All right, should we get into this? I think it's about time. Sorry, I just have so much fun with my intros. It's like, I swear, one of these days I'm gonna do a video that's just intro, all intro. Doesn't even get to the point. Doesn't actually get to the content. The title will throw you completely off, and it's all just gonna be an intro. And then this second video I put out will actually get to the topic. Let's get into it. Thanks for submitting the questions, you guys. This one's gonna be a fun one. First question: what is your family's heritage from, and would you please share more about your grandparents? Your grandpa sounds awesome. Aw, thanks so much for that. Okay, so when I took the DNA test, it basically, for the most part, it confirmed what we already knew. We knew we were mostly European, like a lot of our family just migrated from Europe, all different parts, United Kingdoms, Switzerland, Ireland, and a decent amount from Norway, because that's even where my name Eskil comes from. My great-grandpa was named Eskil, and it's more common. It's a more popular name in Norway. There's like a video game called Eskil and stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of where my family heritage comes from. As of my grandpa and my grandparents, like, I love them. They're awesome. My grandpa, he was so nice. I talked a lot about it in my last video. I have a lot of really fond memories of him. It was really sad when he passed away when I was 12. I miss him. I miss him a lot. And he was definitely the grandparent I got the closest to. As of my grandparents, I have one that's still alive. All the rest have passed away. On my dad's side, his dad was the first one to pass away. He passed away at a pretty young age. I don't know if I've ever met him, actually. I may have been just a little baby before he passed away, but for pretty much all of my life, he was dead. And so I never really met him, didn't know him. But my dad's grandma, she was actually really awesome. I remember going to visit her, and she was just a very humble woman. I didn't see her very often. Like, she had a ton of kids. Well, and her kids had lots of kids. So at the gathering, there was just a ton of people. I remember that. I think, if I remember right, had 8 kids. I don't know too much, honestly, but yeah, that was my grandma. I wonder if I can say her name. I mean, she is dead now. Her name was Isabel. Grandma Isabel. Yeah, she was fun. My sister talked a little bit about how she was the one that had to go up to Ibapaw. They kind of put her out on a farm in the middle of nowhere for a little while. Now, on my mom's side, we had my grandpa, Ray, and he was the one that would give me $1 or $1 for every year on my birthday. And I just remember like going out to places to eat with him and like really fond, good memories with him. We were always doing fun stuff with him, so I just remember he was like the best. He was my favorite. Yeah, it was just a really sad day when he passed away. He lived to be like 73, I believe, and he was only in the order for basically 1 year, just right at the very end. It may have been 2 years, but I just remember it was right at the end. Anyways, and then on my mom's side, I still have my grandma. It's funny because she has like the worst health habits ever, and she's the only one that's still alive out of all my grandparents. Don't know how that worked, but yeah, she's still there. I go and visit her. She's in a old folks home here near Salt Lake City, so I go see her every once in a while, and it's fun. Like, she sometimes mixes me up with my other siblings and stuff, but it's fun to see how much she remembers, talk to her a little bit about our family history and stuff like that. And yeah, she's got a lot of cool stories. She's not all the way there, but she's still fun to visit, and she made it to our last family reunion, so that was cool. What else about my grandparents? I don't know. I think that's good enough. Let's move on. Who gets abused more in the cult, guys or girls? Just from my few experiences, I would say the women have it a lot harder, not only because they are seen very differently and as less than the guys, but because they're also like wanted at even a younger age. Like, women can get married, generally will get married a lot younger than the guys, and so the manipulation to get them married starts a lot younger, and I feel like that can be a lot harder on people and things like that. So yeah, that's my answer to that, but really it just depends on each individual situation. I've definitely seen some hardcore abuse to the guys as well. How long have you been out? Okay, this one's an easy one. I've been out for 6 years. In this December, it'll be 7 years. So, how do you choose who to interview on your channel? And would you ever interview your aunt? Yeah, I invite everybody all the time. I'm like looking for as many good stories as I can. Anyone that wants to. I just don't want to be pushy at all. Like, because I know it's hard. It's definitely, you got to get used to talking to a camera. You got to get used to it. You got to hype yourself up a little bit. And then a lot of the people from, my environment, it's a lot of sad stories, so it's tough. It's like, hey, you want to spill your heart and soul out on my YouTube channel? Like, do you want to cry a little bit? It's kind of hard to ask people to do that. So to me, I just kind of like leave that door open. Anyone that wants to, anyone that has connection with me, hit me up. Like, I'm happy to, but like, I totally understand. Like, no pressure. I'm never going to push anyone to. So it's more up to them than even me. Like, I'm just here. I'm just glad I have the platform and building it and creating something so that people can share their story and have a place to go to for that. Can you guys hear that? The dog's being really loud. But anyways, yeah, if any of my aunts want to come on here, I'm open to everyone, even order members. Anyone that wants to come on here and share their story, I'm open to it. But my one request is just don't let me do all the editing and do a whole video and get everything ready and then shoot it down and say no. I understand if you don't want to and we don't even begin it, but it's so hard when I go through all of the work and then can just have to take it down or can't even post it. That's the hard part, and I totally understand. People's minds change, stuff happens, so it's like, I'm not mad about that or anything, but I just would like people to be sure that they're ready rather than, I don't know, sharing something before they're actually ready to share it. So yeah, that's what I say on that. Okay, so this one's a little bit more of a statement from my last video, but I want to share it because it was a really good comment and they shared some good points. They said, I imagine your dad was unable to explain the true meaning of love because he had his wives chosen by someone else and has possibly been taught that sex is love, and so he might not even know, and passion, compassion, and understanding all sound far from his reach. So I can totally see where you're coming from. Like, in the last video I talked about the birds and the bees talk from my dad and just how anything related to that was always really, really odd and hard to like fully understand. And I did think about it, and it's like a part of me, like, the way that it makes sense and just the simplest to me is like, we are in an environment that I feel like people that live that lifestyle and have multiple wives, it's very easy for them to become addicted to sex. And I feel like his advice, if he really was like addicted to sex, then it makes sense that the very baseline of his advice that he gave was, don't have a ton of sex so that you won't become addicted to it. And it's like, I mean, I could see that that's probably where he was coming from, but like, I don't know, that it's all up into interpretation. And yeah, I'm sure he hasn't had much of that talk. He just had to figure it out on his own too. So I feel like that's probably just was his best way of giving advice from what he's been through and gone through. And so I like to think that maybe it actually was like somewhat good advice, you know, like someone that is a sex addict would probably tell the next person, like, try not to fall into this, or, you know, just be more careful, or like, I don't know, that probably would be the biggest priority of advice to give to someone because of what they've been through. And so I feel like that could have been what he was trying to say. And if it is, then I mean, technically I'm following that. So anyways, next question. What does your last name come from? Why is it not your maiden's name? Okay, yeah, we get this question a lot because my name's Eskel Grant. Our family name is Grant, like the family name all of my siblings have, but my dad's last name is Johnson and my mom's last name is Peterson, and it still is. I don't think my mom ever changed hers. Hers has always been Peterson, and she gave all of her kids a different last name than hers. I think it's just to keep things like legal situations like maybe more complicated, so they can't get in trouble. I think it's just a security reason. They just do that so it's hard to find out which family is with who. Like, it makes it harder to connect the dots of who the dad might be and stuff like that. So I think that's the reason. Because if we were all just changed our name to Johnson, it would be very easy to link us to our dad, and then he'd have to pay child support. He could get in trouble with the government and stuff like that. And so, yeah, I think it's all just a way to take advantage of the legal system. But I don't care. I like the name Grant. It's grown on me. It's who I am. I'm probably always going to keep it that way. And so I think it's cool too. It makes me and my siblings unique, and it kind of like brings us closer together, and it gives us more of a connection. Like, we are the Grants, me and my siblings. I like that. I think it's cool. But yeah, that's just me. Oh, and the name just came from my mom. She tells like this story about how basically she like saw this person on TV one time, and his name was Grant, and she thought it was really cool, and so she always thought the name Grant was just an awesome name. So when she had her first kid and they asked her what kind of name, she wanted their last name to be, then that's just what she picked. She just liked it, and so it was just randomly picked out of thin air, and we're living up to the name. We're making it great. So yeah, it is what it is. Okay, this next one's kind of a long comment from Vivi. I thought it was interesting, so I'm just basically going to read the comment. It's just more of a statement than a question, but I thought it was really good, so I'm going to add this one in here. But Vivi says, the birds and the bees talk. Oh God, I can't say it's much better in the South. I grew up in Texas, and our sex ed was don't have sex till you're married, or you'll be a chewed up piece of gum, used piece of tape, and die of an STD. They didn't even tell us what sex was. I had no idea what I wasn't supposed to be doing. Sigh. Thankfully, I found feminist blogs and learned on my own and found my own opinions, but most kids around me weren't so lucky. And I think that's so true. It's not just necessarily a polygamous thing. Like a lot of the comments you guys were saying, it's like a strict religious type of thing. A lot of people don't know how to approach it, don't know what's the best for that, or how to do the whole sex education system thing. And so yeah, it's a struggle for for a lot of people. I think it definitely goes beyond just polygamous cults. All right, next one. Let's see. Do you know the Mormon Stories podcast? Yes, I love their videos. I watch a ton of them. I am trying somehow to convince him to let me be on one of his, but I know he's got a ton. Like, his podcast is huge, so that's a really far goal, but hopefully one day I might be able to get on it. I think that would be awesome. So if you guys know of any way or connections to them, let me know, because I think that would be awesome. This one's kind of funny. Are you single? Yes, I'm definitely single. The dating world's weird. I talk about it a lot, but I don't know. I feel like I'm just in the time phase of my life where I'm just enjoying being single, trying to work on myself, progress, grow, become the person that I want to be, so that I can add a lot to someone's life. And hopefully when I find the right girl, like, we'll be adding to each other. I hate the idea of when people like feel like they need a love relationship in their life or someone to make them happy or to make them whole. I am a firm believer that you need to discover yourself, get rid of your own trauma so you're not taking it and putting it on someone else. You need to like achieve your goals and have things to work on and progress in a way that you can comfortably like bring someone in and be a part of someone else's life and lift them up, rather than like hoping they'll drag you along with them, or you know, just like making life harder for them. So anyways, that's that. There was one about my job, what I'm doing right now. Basically, I'm trying to multitask and do a lot of things. I'm going to school at the University of Utah. I have a tech job with Microsoft. I'm working a lot less hours so I can focus more on YouTube right now, and with school and everything. Like, it's the beginning of the semester right now, so nothing's too stressful, but I know it's going to get crazy by the end of the semester, so I'm like debating how I'm going to balance everything. But hopefully I can keep producing content and keep improving my videos and working more on them and getting better, but it takes a lot of time. So who knows where it's going to go. It's going to be crazy, but that's what I'm doing right now. That's what I'm going with. So what was it like growing up in an environment where abuse and neglect is so normalized? Was it a major transition once you left the cult? Yeah, it was a huge eye-opener, you guys. Like, I had no idea that some kids could be so like close and open with their parents. I think the whole, especially the father and like son and father and daughter relationships, just blew my mind. I was like, wow, you can actually tell secrets to your dad, like, and he's not gonna use them against you. Like, oh my goodness, that is so cool. There were definitely some things that just I thought was the coolest thing ever. It was awesome to see so many great relationships, and it was like sometimes, yeah, it would hurt and make me like long for that and feel like sad that I didn't get that opportunity, but it just made me so grateful that there are really good fathers out there. There's people that do really good at the parenting gig, even though like it doesn't come with a manual. Everyone is kind of learning as they go, but when you just kind of like put love and like care for the people in your family above all else, then I feel like it bonds you so much more. I've seen people just be able to grow and like have so much love for their family members, and like I still have that with my siblings. So it's like I'm so grateful for what I do have, and I learn from other people, and when I see these great relationships, I try to take what I can from them and apply them to my relationships with my siblings, because I get along with my siblings really well, and I love the relationship that we have. They're awesome and amazing, and I feel like my love for them grows every single day. And so yeah, I love seeing those families, and it was a big shock and like a new thing when I would see that with kids and parents, but it was awesome to be able to see, and I feel like it taught me a lot, and I'm taking notes all the time and like get ideas for what I want my relationship with my kids to be one day, and how to make the most of it, and to be there for them and all of that. So yeah, it was definitely a huge shocker, a big transition. It was definitely a good thing to learn. Like, I'm glad I got to experience that and learn how different it can be. Great question though. Thank you. I really like that one. I cannot emphasize enough on how wild that transition was, but how important it was for me to learn from it and to see that side of things. It was awesome. Kamira says, good video, Eskel. Quick question. Everyone knows about the FLDS, but every time I talk about other polygamous groups, no one can believe this stuff. Actually, nobody can believe this stuff actually happens right under everyone's noses. If Netflix or any other streaming services wanted to do a documentary on the Kingston group, would you want to be involved in it or no? Well, the answer to that is definitely, yeah. I mean, The documentary that Netflix did with Keep Sweet, Pray and Obey, that one was awesome. I don't know how they were able to get all that insight footage that they had, and they had just so many people that had left that group that helped them a ton. So it's like, yeah, if they did that with the Kingston group, I definitely would be a part of that and help. But yeah, if there is any opportunities, if there's a chance, I'm always happy to help. And I think it's awesome. I think it's really important to inform people about these things, and I think it's very beneficial to be able to document it and kind of compare and contrast the different groups and see, first of all, what they're doing, and then like figure out what could possibly help or how we could stop it, or even just like educating the people on why these groups are such an issue, you know, what it is that the essence of the problem is. Because truth be told, it's not necessarily the polygamy. Polygamy is just kind of like the secondary crime that leads to so many more, and it's an issue. I mean, it 100% is, and it leads to a lot of other problems and things like that. So many times when we try to address the things that these cults are doing wrong, they think, oh, you're just attacking my beliefs and the fact that I want to live polygamy and my religion, my rights, yada yada. But it's like, no, it's the fact that there's so much more worse things happening. Like polygamy, sure, it's illegal, like it should be stopped, but there's even other things that are more important that you guys are doing that need to be stopped as well. So yeah, I think just education overall, informing people, letting people know about all this stuff is super helpful and extremely important. So I'm all about that. I'll help out in any way that I can. But somebody just said, Eskel, are you okay? Kind of worried about you after this post. Well, I'm doing great. I have my ups and downs just like everyone does. Some days I really get deep into my head and think about all my past trauma, and I don't like that. And like I've been super good at like tuning things out, which is like, it's good for me, but then it makes it harder when I like try to share experiences or remember things from it. Then it's like I have the worst memory ever, you guys. And so I've tuned out a ton of it. I just remember like the most simplistic, basic things from it. And of course, like the more I think about it and like try to remember, I do remember a lot of the things, but I don't like to all that often. That's why a lot of my content is just kind of like really simple answers, just addressing it very abstract kind of, rather than getting into the deep details and stuff like that, which I like to do that because people want to be informed. I want them to know, but like they don't necessarily need all the details. I know people want that, but it's like I'll give as many details as I can remember and as I want to share without like triggering or like bringing up past trauma and stuff like that. But yeah, overall, like I make sure I don't push myself too far. I don't go too deep into all of these. So yeah, thanks for being concerned and everything, but I'm doing great. Honestly, this time in my life, I feel like everything's been going really well. It's been going great. So thank you. Anyways, great question. Okay, yeah, this next question, I can't go into too much detail about it, but they're just asking about like how many siblings I have still in the order. Are they married? Like what is life like for them? I don't want to say anything that could like, I don't know. It's just, I don't want to cut any ties with them, you know, and I don't want to make life harder for them. Like I said in my last video, like it's very walking on eggshells type of thing when it comes to my siblings, because I want so bad to just be able to help them in any way, but I live my life as a very open book. Like I share everything, nothing's a secret. And so when they have secrets, it's kind of hard for me to like not want to just tell everybody and think it's not a big deal, because I like being very open, but I can't necessarily speak for them. So anyways, it's just a little bit different. But yeah, I have there's 4 of us that have left, so there's still 6 that are still in the order. So I have 6 siblings that are still in the order, and they're just doing their own thing. They're trying to survive. I know what it's like. They're kind of just in survival mode and just figuring things out and stuff. And yeah, a few of them have gotten married. I don't know how much I can say. Yeah, some of them got married. That's all I'm gonna say. Most of them are not, but yeah, they're just living life, trying to figure out how to balance everything. Yeah, the group kind of still controls everything that they do, the jobs that they have and stuff like that. So yeah, it's kind of tough, but yeah, I just try to be there for them. Anyways, and this one is a great one to end off. They say, have you seen Kyle Grant? Thank you guys so much for submitting questions. Thanks for watching part 2, and I hope you guys have a great one, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.